Okay, so the first question for the interview of the power of data to you is, what information from the evaluations do you use to help write up grant proposals?
The main one that helps us is the sort of demographic. So the postcode information is really important.
Yeah, I noticed Susie was really interested in the postcodes.
Yeah, we can show from year to year where our audience is coming from, and that's really important to funders to see if you're just local, if you're regional, national, international.
Yeah.
For example, this year we were able to show that almost 20% of our audience for the first time came from outside of Kent.
Oh, right.
Mostly
okay.
London came.
Yeah,
to,
I know. I thought there was a lot more London.
And again, also if you're for a town like Ramsgate, if you're showing for the town council that you're bringing international, it's helpful. So that's the main one.
And you've got that data from previous reports that say it wasn't as good as it is this time round, so you can show that growth.
You can show that you're especially for things like the Arts Council and people like that.
Yeah. And because of Ramsgate being a deprived area, does that make influences that decision?
Yeah. I mean, it was strange this year because we only got a really small percentage from Broadstairs and Margate.
Yeah.
So we got more from outside of...
Going that way.
Weirdly. Mostly it was 56% were Ramsgate. With 20 from London and outside, so that's and then the rest of that percentage is just made up from Thanet. But it's small.
Yeah. Do you think there's an influence there of people that have second homes here?
Probably.
Might be something.
Yeah.
It's
funny because like our promotion, we focus on Margate, Broadstairs, Thanet area, mostly Canterbury. But that was where we got one of the smallest takes from, which is odd. But that's one of the most important ones. The age one's really important as well.
Yes. Yeah, there's an issue with the age data though, I find, when you're collecting it, because quite often the older generation's quite willing to fill in the evaluation form, and then you try and go up to a younger person and they're not interested.
No.
But there's development there maybe to try and get them to engage online, and I think that was something that they started looking at, weren't they, this year with the online evaluation form. So I didn't get any feedback to see how successful that had been.
The other area is the amount of uptake of people who come to one event. Do they then go on to see others?
Yeah.
And this year was really good because the average person went to see about 8.
Yeah, that's really good.
But the Sonic Trail helps in that because they do the whole thing. But I was really pleased because I design it so that people can see everything if they want to, and that people did enjoy the festival rather than just come to a specific event. So most people did see more than one thing, which
and
is
I
great.
think that proves then that they did a few days.
Yeah.
Because it was be difficult to do this whole Sonic Trail in one day actually.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so that's a bit successful. Okay, number 2, Andrew. What do you think is the most relevant information to come from analysing the data? Sort of answered some of those, but...
Most relevant is...
For you personally or for the festival?
For me personally, it's whether they liked it or not. So you saw from our main evaluation forms, we've got strongly agree, disagree. That majority were 90% were strongly, and we'll come back. Yeah, that's what I need to know.
Yeah, that is
we do
lovely.
come back.
Yeah,
and everybody pretty much. I don't think we had anybody said they wouldn't. So that's
I think that's a really good question actually from a data point of view because they've all got the choice to be able to choose something else, but they chose that strongly agree, which is really important, isn't it? Quite powerful message.
The other one is how regularly they would have gone to similar events. So we've seen if we were introducing it to new audiences. So I can't remember what the question was, but it was a question that kind of said, something about would you normally attend this type of activity or something? And I think about 30% said that they wouldn't and that they would do it again. So, seeing if you're opening up a world to people, which again for the Arts Council and things like that, they really like to know that you are introducing the arts to people. You know, that's a really important one for them. So
making it accessible to all, isn't it? Is one of their big.
And diversity, cultural diversity, is really important. We down here, we're not culturally diverse. Really, I mean, the majority, I would say 95% were white middle class people. Unfortunately, you know, the ethnic spread is really short down here.
I think Emily Peasgood's event, Spat Voice, if I remember rightly, I think it was 85% were white. Yeah, and that actually sort of showed some true figures of what it was like sort of throughout England.
It is something.
And then it gets disrupted later on with different figures.
It's something I want to address this year. Well, I will chat about what I've got planned afterwards.
That'd be really good.
It is something I'm really, really keen to see what we can do about, because I know that certain people like Sabina, Desire, the jazz singer, she's gone, Andrew. It's just so white.
Must have.
It's just you know, it's. She goes like even the board. She goes, you're not reaching out to certain groups, and we're not.
Yeah.
So I want to do that because there's a whole world of cultural beauty out there which I'm not tapping into.
Yeah.
So
it's how you get those people engaged, isn't it? From and not just those people, but you know what I mean, but generally across the board, and we just all get involved in the same sort of thing. It's difficult. Number 3, do you get funding from one source or a few? A few. Okay.
Yeah, as much as we possibly
That's
can.
Interesting. That makes it even more hard work then, doesn't it, really?
It's a nightmare. It's awful. If we're lucky, which we have been, slightly more than 50% comes from the Arts Council. About slightly more than 10% is Ramsgate Town Council. And then we have to make up the rest by sponsorship, if we can get it, private donations, and concession money.
What's concession money?
We're selling the market stalls and things like that. It's very, very little. And that's how, you know, if a festival grows, then that's where you can actually start to capitalise. But if it's small, and you have to make it worth the vendors' time to come. And most years it's not worth their time.
No.
Which is
annoying. And
especially if it rains.
I know, that's the problem, isn't it?
And I have a nervous breakdown because I'm going, there's £2,000 gone, there's £2,000 gone.
You must go to bed each night and please.
Oh, I cried that Saturday. I cried that Saturday.
Oh, it's such a shame.
It was the only day of the summer it rained.
Yeah, it was a lovely week.
I thought I was going to have to cancel everything.
Oh, no.
But we didn't, so.
No. Thank goodness. I was going to say about funding, I don't think I've got that on my questions, but it's about ethical funding. And it's quite an interesting story this year when Stagecoach we're going to fund the Turner.
Oh, right, yes.
The Turner Prize. I don't know if you saw that. I think there was an article came back in March or something, and they had to say no because the CEO is a quite well-known homophobic CEO, and then they said no, we can't get involved. So it's interesting ethical funding.
I see. That's annoying because I was going to approach them.
Well, I was going to approach them about something, and then I read that article and I did a bit of research, and I realised it, and I thought,
because they tweeted Stagecoach without us even prompting or asking anything, and they tweeted it all across the country of Ramsgate that weekend was the place to go to.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Thousands and thousands of retweets.
I've spoken to their advertising team, and they've got some amazing people that work for them. Really lovely. But that once I sort of did that, I was put off because I thought no. I get involved with that sort of.
Oh, that's good to know.
Thanks, Mel. That's really unhelpful.
Open up a can of worms there. Nobody will come to it. They'll boycott it. Ooh.
You do have to think about it, isn't it?
But how do you know? But it's like Wetherspoons. he's a major Brexiteer, so
you have to be.
You can't put you open up a can of worms, which is really frustrating.
It is, because it's a lovely location for Ramsgate, that particular place.
They didn't give us anything last year.
No, I can imagine. They probably they're not very
They
small
don't need
pockets.
to. They don't need to.
And it is annoying because we do bring in you brought in customers for them.
Well, they say they don't need it, quite bluntly, and they probably don't. But that's not the point. The point is that, and I spoke to Rebecca, Rebecca Smith, the town promoter, and she said whenever it's before the festival last year, the figures came in of the first year of Weatherspoon's trading, and the average business on that restaurant and bar and that thing, their takings were down 50%. And I went to them and I said, these people normally would have donated to the festival, but they can't afford to because of you.
Yeah.
So compensate.
Yeah. No, not interested.
So anyway.
Because they know you can't do anything, I suppose. Your hands are tied. You can't complain to anybody,
I'm just not speaking to the right
can
person, I think, because the manager down there has got enough on his plate. It's just a small thing for him to deal with, but I need the regional manager. I need to kind of shame them. But anyway.
And I think the Archbishop of Canterbury drinks in there a bit.
Really?
So from that sort of point of view, from a community point of view, he should be taking a stand. I messed up on the last question. Maybe I'll help out the next question. Right, number 4. What projects do you think are funders interested in funding? What do you think's been the most popular?
Within the festival?
When funders, who do they want to invest in?
Well, the Arts Council have probably answered that. They want to see that you're introducing the arts to wider audiences. That's their main priority. I mean, if you look at an Arts Council application, it's how you're engaging with community, how you're engaging in public, and what, are you opening up to new audiences? That's their main priority. It's different for each funder, because I'm applying to PRS, Performing Rights Society, so they're only interested in funding creative works that are helping artists. So you're providing a platform for
younger artists or just artists?
Music.
Music.
Yeah.
Okay, music artists.
It's music. They have a fund called the Open Fund, I think it's called, and they have a special pot for organisations like mine. And you need to show that your festival is mentoring and providing a platform for new creative works and helping them in that process. So part of that money goes directly to the artists to do it. Town council would be business. They're interested in
what business it brings.
What business it brings in.
Yeah, of course.
So that's the kind of tightrope I walk, which makes it really quite interesting, because I've got to please lots of different audiences. So that's why developing this festival is kind of a labour of love for me, because I like to see that it's making a massive difference. And it is bringing money and making jobs. Yeah, definitely. So they would be interested in funding projects that are popularist in a way. So you have to have that fine balance of bringing a crowd in, but also creating new works and making it really diverse. So
which is what you do really well, actually, because the music stage is quite a different type of audience than what you have on the Sonnet Trail. Totally. But you're able to make them.
And it's kind of keeping that old seaside tradition, where people are on their holidays and they want fun and entertainment and they want to see a star and they want
range,
so as much as you can get that balance right, then you're kind of on a winner, really.
Excellent.
Does that answer that one?
Yeah, that's good, thank you. Number 5. Do you think quantitative research helps gain funding? The reason I ask this is drawing attention to grant proposals from first-time events may be harder than festivals that have a substantial data that is quantitative and not just qualitative data.
Yeah.
So you must have found that when you were starting out. It was...
I come into the festival, I've done 3 now, so I had that to work on. But then I changed it into the festival sound, which was kind of a new thing. So I didn't really have any data to prove that worked, because I didn't know if it was going to work or not. Yeah. But it has massively helps to get the funding. Yeah. And it was probably harder the first time round, because people go, "What are you talking about?" Yeah. Until they kind of see it in a programme, they go, "Oh, that's what it is." Because if you try to describe it to people, they go, "What? I don't understand it." so especially for a funder, because they'll go, you have to have a proven track record. So so yeah, for somebody starting a brand new festival, it's a massive thing, mountain to climb, really. And if you don't have a proven statistics of it,
that's pretty.
Yeah, because that's the first thing that they'll ask: how many people does it bring? So yeah.
So you're changing the festival then to something. So therefore, changing the festival to something else would be pretty difficult as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Because you've got no data there to sort of to support that change.
Yeah. I mean, this is still finding its feet, even in my head, because I'm going, is it sustainable? Can you do this every year? Because you don't know what works you're going to get. Because I hit the jackpot the first year, because Emily had her Crossbones piece and it was just perfect.
Oh, yeah.
And then Simon had his big thing all ready to go, so I got the best. We had hardly any money that year.
Oh.
We got 15 grand from the Arts Council. I did the whole thing in 30,000. The first year.
That's
but we had the Serbia
on
installation, which was all ready to go. That's why I kind of thought, well, all these, it makes sense to do that, because all the sound artists are living here and they've got pieces. But what comes out this year, I just don't know, because it's an open call.
But you got an inkling.
I've got an inkling, and the quality's been so gorgeous and good, so I just hope that and we've hopefully been able, if we get the funding, we'll hopefully going to be able to up the artist's offer, so they'll get more money each year. So the first year they got 70 quid. And last year, I know, to cover their bus fare. But they did it, and then last year they got 500, which is still a lot of money, and this year I'm hoping to get them 700 for the 4 days.
That'd
So
be nice.
for new artists, it's not bad.
Yeah.
But ideally, it should be
Yeah.
a couple of grand each,
Yeah.
But what can you do?
No, you've got to work with what you've got, haven't you? Question number 6. Do you feel you are restricted by funding, not in a financial way, but in a creative direction, such as are you influenced by what the funders are willing to fund? Not sure. So I suppose it goes back to that question, doesn't it? Like, if they're willing to fund music, then you're obliged to sort of put the money into music and therefore maybe sacrifice.
Yeah, because each one will have a different preference, and you have to kind of, if you get the money, you have to put it into what specifically you're saying you're going to do.
Yeah.
And as I said, PRS would be just solely music.
Yeah.
Or sound art maybe, but I can't take a risk on that. I have to just say, right, we're going to do these new shows with studios and producers. It's not just musicians, it's also creatives that are behind it. And then there's awards for all has to be supporting the local community. So we'd be restricted in that sense. But the Arts Council, for example, isn't restricted really. It's as long as it's art.
Yeah. And it's like if you had, how much money would you like to have, and then what would you do with it, Andrew?
What I would do, what potentially in the future, the one thing about it is Lorna from the Arts Council came down and spent 2 days at the festival, which is kind of unheard of. I was really delighted that she came, and she really invested her time in it and brought her family and everything. And she is so aware of the restrictions of having to annually apply. So the Arts Council are now going to change, hopefully, this year, that you can apply for 2 years up front.
That's amazing.
And hopefully I'll be so more established then. I think this year I'm applying for 50,000, which is kind of the mid-range one, but I could up it and get 2 years in advance and have a whack, and then you can bring a really, really big show, which is a big public thing, and then the rest of it can go into the creatives and the artists. So that's kind of the
that's
the plan.
Exciting. Yeah. Wow. It's something very comforting about knowing you've got money in the bank for not next year, but the next year. Like you say, if it gets rained out, you're like, oh,
well,
damn
we took a hit this year, massive, and I've had to take it all myself and paid, and it's.
Yeah, silly.
I know.
It's silly. Shouldn't have to do that, should we?
And I did it before this one. Then I got hired to do the Royal Harbour History Festival, which never happened. A year's work, and they didn't pay me. They couldn't pay me.
So it has a knock-on effect, doesn't
Massive,
it? Yeah.
But you know what I have to do now is somehow budget that there's a contingency in the bank to pay staff over the winter to do the fundraising and all of that, because people are working for free, and the arts guys don't like that.
No, oh, that's interesting. No, because yes,
they don't like it. You know, they want you to be creating jobs and supporting artists and creating jobs.
Yeah, that's the point, I suppose, isn't it? Of everything. So what's the point of funding if you're just still going to have to do it voluntary?
Yeah. And again, back to your, you know, to what you're. That's where the data is vital, because you can prove it.
Yeah, it's true.
You know.
Final question.
I'm just getting warmed up.
Sorry. I should have written more. Right, data is generally considered to increase inequality. I don't know if you believe in that, but that is the general statement, particularly due to the monetarisation of data and how it's considered in the West as being the most important contemporary concern. That's by the man that wrote the Silk Roads book, Frankenpalm. Do you think art grants have divided the arts community, such as issues surrounding bidding data? I think this question's quite a elaborate one, but it's about maybe influencing data so you can influence monetary investment, but also how data deals with inequality. So like, for example, the question that we have on the evaluation form that says about age. Now, we know a lot more younger people come to the festival than what's being recorded, because we know younger people don't want to fill in the forms, and we know there's a lot more males that attend the festival than females, but it's females that will fill in the form.
Right. Yeah.
So you know, like there's that there's not corruption, but there's a sort of a so therefore it causes this sort of data reaction that's maybe not as truthful, as honest as what it is.
Yeah, probably the answer to that question.
Sorry, it's a bit long-winded.
I just don't know. My instinct is yes. But then there's things like, maybe this isn't the question, but there's things like, if you're certain funders, you have to show that you're doing da-da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, well, that's like kind of please something just for the sake of pleasing it. You know, and
ticking the boxes.
Ticking a box. And it's really hard when you do something like an open call, because I just go blind and what is the piece of work? You know, and you do get a buy-up from the artist and stuff, but I can't start to go, well, I need to fill that box with, you know, that person can't come in because I've got 3 of those.
Yeah.
I just won't do it, because it's to me it's about the quality of the work and the artist, and it's not fair on people to do that.
No, true.
So I just kind of look at the work, I kind of don't look at the personality at all. And then we have a panel of 6 that select it, so it should be, you know, it's whoever, you know, everybody agrees on.
Yeah.
So, but it could, and on certain things it would sway it, you know, and I know for myself that you get tempted to go in and do an application and go, oh, I'm really diverse, and, you know, and tick the boxes for them to get the money, but so it may kind of do that.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. It's like, I mean, obviously we would like to live in a world of equality and that we're all the same. I mean, I'm a socialist anyway, so I'd like that. But then I realise that would be quite boring as well. And I think something that the Turner Prize tried to deal with this year, wasn't it, or last year, was that all artists were given the prize as a message to say, you know,
well,
we
only
respect.
Because they asked for that, wasn't it? It was only the artist said that. It wasn't the Turner.
It wasn't the prize.
No.
And then my tutor was asking the day, what's the point of prize money at the Turner Prize? Is that relevant anymore? And it's a really interesting idea as well, is that the Turner Prize has just so much more available than just prize money, particularly when you've got Oscar, who earns something like £8 million a year. He's not really interested in, what was it, 10 grand?
In that money?
Yeah.
It's 20, I think it's 20 to get, I'm not sure. But yeah. Then if you are a new artist, then it is relevant. I don't know.
Yeah. If you're an
I
up
don't even
and
know how
coming.
it works. I mean, how do they? Is it just open to any artist in the whole world?
No.
Just Britain.
It has to be, has to
And
be
but
working in
anybody
Britain.
can put
But
in
anybody
submission?
can be in, but you have to
Right.
be working in Britain, so you don't have to be British, because that would be discriminating.
Okay, well
wouldn't
that's
it, as
interesting. Because
such.
then I suppose if you were a new artist, that money would
Be
get you a
helpful.
studio or something.
Yeah, be very helpful.
Yeah.
But then it's not considered a. If you were just going to promote the Turner Prize to people, an audience, as being up and coming artists, then you're not going to get the footfall, maybe.
Yeah.
So that's why you need the people
Yeah.
like Oscar to come along
Yeah.
and promote it. There's an interesting relationship between who's helping and who's.
Yeah.
That sort of power struggle, isn't it, really, of the arts?
I just watched that movie. Have you seen it? It's on Netflix. So you're freezing. We'll go
No,
inside a
no,
second.
I'm fine. The
It's
Hack.
set. No.
No, have you
it's
seen-
set in the arts world in
Oh.
in America, and it's Jake Gyllenhaal who plays this art critic, and it's like a pastiche of the art world.
Oh.
And this this assistant to a big gallery owner, the old man upstairs dies, and she goes into the flat and finds all these masterpieces, and they're cursed. They're cursed.
no.
Oh, it's a really good movie. You should watch it.
What's it called?
It's got a funny name.
Is it on Netflix
Yeah,
or
have you got
something?
Netflix?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, have a watch at it. It's very good.
It's just
very funny.
arrived.
It's just arrived. Yeah, and it's a little surprise treat.
Exciting. Oh. Right, that's it, really.
Wonderful.
Anything else you can think of
Not at
that
all.
might
I don't
help?
think so. No. Nothing that
Tell me
comes to
about what
mind.
you're doing.
Well, you're freezing. We'll go and sit in here